In this week's Parsha, Parshas Behar, there's a mitzvah that says, "V'sefart lecha sheva shabsai shonim." You should count 7 years. Sheva shabsai shonim, 7 sets of years. Sheva shonim, sheva pomim, 7 years, 7 times. V'hayu lecha yimei sheva shabsai shonim. He'll have those 7 years 7 times. Teisha b'arboim shana will equal up to 49 years. This is talking about the Shemitahs. You have to count Shemitah 7 years, 7 times, and then the 50th year is Yovel. So it's very similar to the counting of Sphira. We count 7 weeks, 7 days, 7 weeks, 7 full weeks, and it's 49 days. So the question is, what's this mitzvah of Sfart Lecha? You should count the Shvi'is, you should count Shvi'is 7 times, and then you have Yovel afterwards. There's a mitzvah of Sfart Lechem. You should count Sphira. That we know we count Sphira. You say Hayom, Yemechad V'Omer, Hayom, Shnei Yom V'Omer, and we count till we get till Shavuos. This mitzvah of Sfart Lecha, Sheva Shabsai Shonim, what type of mitzvah is that? Is there a mitzvah literally to count? It's the first year of Shemitah, this is the second year of Shemitah, this is the third year of Shemitah, and who is this mitzvah incumbent on? What type of mitzvah is it? So there's the machlokes in the Rishonim. If when you count these 7 years of Shemitah, if you count it with the bracha, you say Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam al Sphira Shemitah, and then you say this is the first year. So I'll quote you a chinuch, a minchas chinuch that.
This is at Rosh Hashanah you would be doing?
Oh, so and when do you do it also? So let's see. The minchas chinuch brings down over here. Mitzvah zu mesura lebezdin hagadol. This mitzvah of counting 49 years of Shemitah to get to the 50th year of Yovel was given over to Bezdin. The Zman HaYovel, the times when they had Yovel. U'mavoy b'treisus menachos samachem et beis. The Shema Bezdin Seifrin u'mevarchen al Sphira. Bezdin counts the 49 years and they make a bracha on it. K'moisha anu mevarchen al Sphira Sa'omer. The same way we make a bracha on Sphira Sa'omer. The move of the Mishnah Melech Shon, the Mishnah Melech brings this thing also. And when do you count it? Says the Minchas Chinuch V'nira. The Hayu Seifrin Kol Rosh Hashanah. Every beginning of the year, the first day of the year, Rosh Hashanah. Like we count every day Sphira, Bezdin will count in the beginning of every year. This is the first year of Shemitah. This is the second year of Shemitah.
At night.
Huh?
At night they count, right?
Oh, one second. Here the years are like our days in Sphira. 1 year is equal to 1 day of our Sphira. The mitzvah is to count in the beginning. Just like Sfiras Omer, the mitzvah is to count at night. The same thing, the mitzvah of counting the Shemitahs is in the beginning. Now what does the beginning mean? Ve'ef shaloymar, to have a Sfiras Omer ksiv timimois. Sfiras Omer is a day you have to have timimois, 49 full days. Avakam like ksiv timimois. By the counting of Shemitim, doesn't say you have to count to Mimois. And what will be the difference? Because yes, Shittis have a Sfiras Omer, the B'yayim Moina B'loi Bracha. By day, which we do, you have to count to Mimois, you have to count at night. That's the chiv of Tmimois. At night to count. If you missed at night, we'll count by day anyway, without a bracha. How about if they missed, Bezdin missed the Sphira of Shemitim? They didn't count Rosh Hashanah. And now it's Asher Semei Tshuva. So they want to say Shana Rishon Le Shemitim. But they count with the bracha. Says the Minchas Chinuch, they will count. Ve'im shochach lispar yoyim echad ein moina. By Sfiras Omer, if we miss 1 day of Sfiras Omer, we don't count afterwards with the bracha. Why? Because some shittas hold that the counting is one big counting. If you miss 1 day, you ruin the whole counting. Every day is dependent in the next day. So if you counted 10 days and you missed the 11th day, you missed the whole counting of Sfiras Omer, and therefore you don't count with bracha because like those shittas. We'll say anyway without a bracha, because there are a lot of shittas that hold that each day is its own mitzvah. But by Shmitin, we don't have that. By Shmitin, if you missed 1 year, Bezdin forgot to count 1 year, they still continue counting the rest of the years with a bracha. That's the shitta that the Minchas Chinuch brings down.
Quick question. Isn't Shemitah for the farmers only? Should we be chayiv to make the bracha? Why the best?
No, so Shemitah, so that's what we'll see in a second. Shemitah is not a chiyuv on the farmers. Shemitah is a din in the 7th year. We're not talking about Shemitah now. We're talking about Yovel. After 7 Shemitahs, you have a Yovel.
Yeah, the farmers.
No, Yovel is something else. Avodah go free, right? Yovel is its own din. There's no question if Yovel is nay when there's no Shemitah. That's a whole separate question. But you count up to Yovel, you count 1 Shemitah, 6 years, 1 Shemitah. Now we're holding Hashana Shemitah Shniya, that's how you would count. Hashana Shemitah Shniya, V'Shana Echad.
Right.
And that's how you would count the Shemitah until you get to Yovel. Who's this mitzvah on? Bezdin. The Ramban in Parshas Behar argues, the Ramban says, Parshas Emor argues, the Ramban says, Usfartan Lechem, it speaks about Sfiras Omer. K'moy Lekachtan Lechem, Shtei Sfira V'Lekicha L'chol Echad V'Echad. The mitzvah Sfiras Omer is for each person. I will get to this soon, exactly what it means. But the mitzvah Sfiras Omer is a chiyuv on each person. Sfiras Shmitim is not a chiyuv on each person. We don't have to count Shmitas. Bezdin has to count Shmitas. Sheyimne B'Piv should count with his mouth. V'yaskir Cheshboinoi Kasher Kiblu Rabbi Seinu. He has to count, like the Rabbi Seinu said, 1 week and 1 day. V'ein kain v'safar loy v'safar lo the zavin. Zalachar Isha Nida. Kads Shivan Nekim. So she has to count. Today's the first day, today's the second day, today's the third day. They don't count. Why not? What's the difference? The Safar Lo Shivan Nekim. She has to count Shivan Nekim. Why does she count with the bracha? So some Rishonim say she doesn't count with the bracha because we don't know if she'll get through the whole thing clean. The Tahara. You may break it.
Same thing with spirit. You don't know you're going through the whole spirit of that.
You don't remember it. But you may forget a night.
Yeah.
But that's totally new. That's totally new.
This is totally the Sheshama.
Yeah, this is totally, it's not totally new if you stay Torah or not. So what's that counting? That counting is Ela Shelo Yishkachuhu. They shouldn't forget where they're holding. There's no mitzvah they have to count. The counting of Shivan Nekim is you shouldn't forget where you're holding. V'chein v'sefart l'cha de Yovel, says the Ramban. The Sefart l'cha of Yovel is not a mitzvah to count every year, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. What is it? It's only that Bezdin should know where they're holding. Sheyiziru Bezdin b'minyin v'yikatsu shnas ha'chamisha. Bezdin should be careful where they're holding in their counting, and then they should be mekadosh the 50th year. That's what the Ramban says. So that means there's no bracha. The Ramban holds there's no bracha. There's no mitzvah to count every single year. What is it? Bezdin has to keep a cheshbon when is Yovel. How do you keep a cheshbon? The same way in Isha Nida keeps a cheshbon of 7 days. Bezdin keeps a cheshbon of 49 years and now is Yovel. There's no mitzvah of spirit to go count it and to make a bracha on it. That's what the Ramban holds. But the Ramban does speak out over here that Sfiras Omer is different. What's Sfiras Omer? Sfiras Omer is a mitzvah kol echad v'echad. Now I want to go into this a little bit. What does it mean it's a mitzvah kol echad v'echad? Everyone has a chiyuv to count Sfira. What does that mean? So the Rashba in Shuva has a shayla, someone sent him a shayla. When I count Sfira, could someone be moitzi me with the bracha on the Sfira or not? That was the question.
Someone who can't say bracha themselves?
Let's see, you could say a bracha yourself.
Oh, okay.
I could count. Could someone be moitzi me in the bracha on the Sfira?
Yeah, sure. Sure, you hear somebody say bracha.
Right. That can sure.
It's not quite the same. No, that's the same question. So let's use an example. Let's say you miss the third night. Right? Does that mean if you hear one guy make all the rest of the time you're yotze the whole sphere? I don't think so.
No, what?
If you go till you miss the third night yourself, right?
Yeah.
If you heard the spirit from someone else, let's say about tefillah for the rest of the time, for the next 46 days,
Say amen.
and you said amen, and he had you in mind,
But the bracha or the sphira?
The bracha.
So you answer the bracha with him.
So you're completing yotz as if you said it all yourself?
The bracha.
So what else is there?
But you said you missed one.
You're counting yourself. You're counting yourself, yeah. So that's what they're about.
It's the exact same.
Okay, so the question to Rashba was, why does the Shliach Tzibur, the Shat, say the bracha by spirit of Kol Ram? So he ain't able to hoitzi shum adam. The Shliach Tzibur is not coming to moitzi anybody. Shekol echad ve'echad chayiv levarach la'atzmoi ve'ein acha yochel loitziyah. Every person has to make his own bracha, and another person can't be moitzi, and that's the way the Shoyal sent the question to the Rashba. And the Rashba answers back, and the Rashba says it's not true. In the bracha, it's 100% that you can be moitzi somebody else from the bracha. I'm telling Sphira, I'm counting, and you're making a bracha. You could ask you to be moitzi me with the bracha, and you moitzi me with the bracha. Says the Rashba, what does it mean you have to count? The counting itself I have to do. Because I say Yom Rishon Loimer, Yom Echad Loimer, and I want to be moitzi you, you're not yet. The counting of Sphira's Oimer is like Kol Echad Ve'echad. The same way you have to put on tefillin. I can't be moitzi you with tefillin. You have to take a lulav. I can't be moitzi you with taking a lulav. The same thing with Sphira's Oimer. I can't be moitzi you. Kiddush, I can be moitzi you. A bracha, I can be moitzi you. Sphira's Oimer, you can't be moitzi as a mitzvah, Kol Echad Ve'echad, to count.
But you can for the bracha.
You can?
For the bracha.
For the
Not
bracha
for the
you
counting,
could.
but you can
For the bracha you could, yeah. Now this is really the Achronim really speak about the Shabbos. The Magen Avram says that if I want to be moitzi you with the counting of the Omer, I can't be moitzi you. So I want to say, listen to me, listen to the shots, and be yoitza with the shots, with the counting of the Omer. Says the Magen Avram, you can't be yoitza. The Pri Chadash argues. He says it could be yoitza. From this Rashba, it's very mashma that you cannot be yoitza in the counting of the Omer itself. You can't be moitzi with somebody else.
So you could answer amen to the bracha, count yourself,
right,
and then you'd be covered all the bases.
Right.
So
if you answer amen to the bracha, says the Rashba, it's not different than any time someone's making a bracha, you're yoitza with him. Kiddush, you're yoitza with somebody. Brichas hamazon, also you could be yoitza. So today, even brichas hanenin, when you make a shahakal on something, also you could be moitzi other people. We don't do it. You say everyone's make their own bracha, but you could do it if you want, and therefore says the Rashba, if you make a bracha, and I'm moitzi you with the bracha, it's fine. But then you have to go count yourself the
Can I
count.
ask you a question? If a person is not sure if he missed, let's say, the third day, right? So what I understood is that if there's a suffix, you can go ahead and make the bracha rest. Wouldn't it be better if you don't make the bracha and you're yoitz with someone else than will make the bracha?
No, love that. Because the reason why, if you're not sure if you counted, why if you're not sure if you counted, you continue counting with the bracha? Because it's specs fake.
That's right. Yeah.
Because maybe
bottom line is you might have missed the day. So why if we can be yoitz the same with someone that's making the bracha, wouldn't that be preferential?
So you're getting involved now in a very, very serious island. If the psak is a specs fake is mutter,
That's the way it is.
do you have a right to say I want to be machmir? The specs faker is mutter, right? This is the specs faker, and it says if you're mutter, you're allowed to count with the bracha. So you want to say, no, I still want to be machmir. I want to go ahead and listen to somebody else. Do you have a right to do that or not?
So the same thing as if you say something
Someone's bottle b'shishim. Something's bottle b'shishim.
For me.
Right. Someone's bottle b'shishim.
Yeah.
And you want to say, listen, there is some chazir in there. It's bottle b'shishim, I know, but I want to be machmir. I don't want to eat it at all. Do you have the right to do that or not? This will leave for a different share. It's a big machlokes.
The bottom line is no.
Some places can hold. Some places hold it could. Some places can say you're not prepared.
Don't know what they're talking about.
Some people say there's a lotion from the Teres Chatos that it's a question of apicursus. Because if the psak is that it's mutter,
I know better than
and you're saying I want to machmir, you're saying yeah. So it's a whole different.
You're saying I know better.
Right, but it could. But the question is what a specs fake is. Or bittul b'roiv is one thing.
Bittul b'roiv is more interesting.
Yeah, the question of the specs faker. What is the specs faker? The specs faker psak is an haga. That's for a different time.
But what's the bottom line? You would make the bracha.
Yeah, 100%. The psak is to make a bracha, and you wouldn't be machmir to say I'll listen to somebody else, even though you could. So why not? The halacha is the specs faker. It's mutter to make the bracha. You make the bracha by yourself.
And you change your medication so you remember whether you counted or not.
So if you don't make the bracha, it's not you being machmir, you're being apogoris.
It's hard enough to
What's this piece of string here for?
That's why I have to go to shul.
I know.
Earlier you said it has to be complete 49 days. We have to be very careful.
Right.
And we are at the end. That last night, we wait very late until we're certain that it's full 49 days. Why aren't we careful at the beginning? We want the first day to complete also.
So you want to start as early as possible.
Right. I mean, a lot of people wait till the middle of the Seder, after the Seder.
Right.
You've lost a few hours.
That's a very good question. A lot of people will count the dafka before the Seder because it's Tmimos.
Okay, but
Because of that.
A lot of people say,
Yeah, okay, that's the question. Why people that wait later on are missing the beginning?
Yeah.
They're missing the beginning. Okay, it's a good question. And the question is really, we wait till the end, right? We wait till Shavuos night, we wait till, because it's Tmimos.
Right.
What are we doing there? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll speak about it a different week. About this Tmimos. Maybe we'll do speak about it the week before Shavuos. Because the question is, what does it mean Tmimos? And if I daven my early, what am I doing exactly? It's not. I'm not living 49 full days. What's happening? Yeah. So it says, and that's the steps. Tmimos is also every single night you should count right away, not just the first night. Every night should be counted in the beginning of the night because of Tmimos. It says also you should count every single night right away in the beginning, not just the first night. Not Tmimos in the days besides the whole 49. The Chatchili should people say you should count the first night right away in the beginning because of Tmimos.
But when you count the day, even if you count it in the middle of the night instead of at the beginning of the night, it's not as though you're not counting the whole day.
Right,
you are counting the whole day.
So that's the question. What does it mean to me? And if I start Shavuos a little earlier, so I don't know 49 days. Yeah, 49 days.
Right.
Well, let's leave that for now. The whole question, what the Tmimos is, exactly what it means Tmimos, is a big question. What does Tmimos mean? But going back to this, to mitzvah kol echad v'echad. So we have here mitzvah kol echad v'echad. The Magen Avraham says, therefore, you can't be made to me. I have to count to myself. Some achronim hold not that way. Some achronim hold the Pri Chodesh says maybe not. Maybe all it means is mitzvah kol echad ve'echad means, says the Pri Chodesh, l'haitzi shehaya svara dirak lebezdin ha-mitzvah k'moi b'yovel. You would have thought to say maybe that even the mitzvah Sfiras Omer is only a mitzvah on bezdin to count how many days we have till Shavuos, and then it's Shavuos. But on the Yachid there's no mitzvah to count. Kamash Malon, on the Yachid there's also a mitzvah to count. But who says we go the next step to say that I have to count it by myself? Maybe I could listen to you and be yotzi with you. We're going, the Rajba is mashma, and the Magen Avraham says that, he passes that way. We're going a step further. Akol echad ve'echad means that I can't be yotzi with you. Maybe all it means is that everyone has a mitzvah to count, and not a mitzvah on bezdin. That's what the Pri Chodesh says. The we pass it like the Magen Avraham, that everyone should count by themselves the Sfiras Omer. But there's another step, a step further even, which is a very big chiddush. There's a famous shayla that if someone's counting Sfira, and could be heard the shayla already, someone's counting Sfira, and he travels and he crosses the date line. Famous shayla. What happens? Meaning, he's now, let's say, in the 30th day of the Omer, and he just walked across the date line, and now it's the 31st day of the Omer. We went across the date line. So now, he missed the day. Tonight, where he is now, they're going to count 32, and he really should be counting 31. So what does he do? So this question is the B'Tzelach Chachma, he was the B'Tzalel Stern, he was the Rav in Melbourne, so he had the shayla a lot, I guess. In Australia, they cross the date line. So here's a whole lot of riches about this. And he paskins that when you cross the date line, so it depends. If I crossed the date line, I was 31, and I went back to 30. So tonight, in the place where you're going to be, they counted 31 again. You just said 31 the night before. They're saying 31 again. He says that night you count 31 without a bracha, and the next night, 32 on, you count with a bracha. That's what he says. But if you're going the opposite way, you're losing it there. You're going from 30 and you're jumping to 31. So tonight is 32 and you missed 31. He says count the rest of the days without a bracha. That's what the Tzela Chachma paskins, because he lost a day. That's what he paskins. Some person want to say you count with a bracha no matter what, because you go basar the tzibur that you're in.
You shouldn't go on the trip.
You shouldn't go on the trip, yeah. But there's another interesting psak, which is a very big chiddush, which this is the Lubavitcher psak, and this they blame it on the Tanya, that it says in the Torah, Usfarta l'cha, you should count to yourself 49 days. Now, who says, I crossed the line, they counted 31, I'm counting 30. What do they have to do with me? It's a mitzvah kol yochid v'yochid. It's a mitzvah for each person to count 49 days. So I crossed the date line. Right? Now it's a 31 by them. For me, it's still 30. The sun didn't come down yet for the 30th day for me. So tonight, I continue counting what? I count 31. They counted 32.
Right.
I'm counting 31.
What happens when Shavuos comes?
Okay, a second.
I was just going to say, the question is when are you going back? Are you going back before? After yesterday's, you know? Yeah.
So
It's good to have a 2-day yontif.
So we'll get to that.
3-day yontif.
So they say from the Tanya holds, mitzvah kol echad v'echad. So we have so far 3 levels in a mitzvah kol echad v'echad. So Bechukatai says all it means to say is, it's not a chiv and bezin like yovel. It's a chiv, every person has to count. You could be made to me, but it's not a chiv on me that I have to count my own counting. So what Avram says, it's a chiv, you have to count your own by yourself. But not that I'm not meshuvah to the tzibur which they were holding. Here's the third shita. A kol echad v'echad means that I'm not meshuvah to the tzibur which they're counting. If Hashem you learn, I go from 30 to 31, I'm part of the tzibur now of 31. They counted 31 days, so I'm part of that tzibur. I have to count, but I'm part of them. The Tanya they say holds not that way. You're not part of them. You never become part of the crowd. It's a mitzvah called yachid v'yachid. If we're all living in the same community, we happen to all have the same day, and we're all keeping the same mitzvah. But I cross the line, and now it's 31 by them, 30 by me. I continue counting where I'm holding.
Makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. Mitzvah kol echad v'echad makes a lot of sense. The problem is you can run into an issue with Shavuos. Right? Now we know every Yom Tov is totally in Bezdin. Every Yom Tov is totally in Bezdin, Pesach, right? Rosh Chodesh. There's one Yom Tov that's not totally in Rosh Chodesh, which is Shavuos.
Right. Yeah.
Shavuos is from the second day Pesach. You count 49 days. So it happens to be now the calendar is set up. Nisan is always Moleh, Iyar is always Chaser. So it happens to be Shavuos always comes out now on Vav Sivan. But in the times before the calendar was set, Shavuos could have come out Hey, Vav, or Zayin, Sivan. Any one of those 3 days. And that's a very big question if you think about it. Then, if that's the case, they never really had 2-day Shavuos. It never existed 2-day Shavuos. Why do we keep 2 days? Because in Bavel, or out of Yerushalayim, whatever, places where the Shluchim didn't reach till the 14th day of the month. So the 15th day, they didn't know which day was the 15th day of the month. So they kept Pesach 2 days Misafet. Maybe today is Tezvav, or maybe tomorrow is Tezvav. Sukkot is the same thing. Maybe today is Tezvav, maybe tomorrow is Tezvav. But by the end of the month, the Shluchim already came. They knew where they were holding. So by the time Shavuos came around, they knew what happened on Rosh Chodesh Nisan. They already knew what happened. So they never kept 2-day Shavuos. The question is when it started. And the Chassam Sofer has a chumrah on 2-day Shavuos. He says 2-day Shavuos started later on, and it's because every other Yom Tov is 2 days. Therefore, Loi Plog, we made Shavuos also 2 days. And he has a whole chumrah there that Beish and Older Bezer maybe is also Bezer. Every other Yom Tov is a Sveika D'Yema. Why? Because it was always a Sveika D'Yema. We're not sure if today's Yom Tov, tomorrow's Yom Tov. But Shavuos, which was never Sveika D'Yema, they instituted 2 days for a Zecher of the other Yom Tovim. It could be it's considered one long day, and you don't say it's a Sveika D'Yema and Beish and Older Bezer is a Mutter Bezer. That's a Chassam Sofer. But Shavuos really never had a Sveika D'Yema. Because you count from the second day Shavuos and you continue counting. So now, according to this Lubavitcher psak, what's going to happen is, if you cross the day line and you continue counting your day Shavuos, your day is Sfira, when is Shavuos for you? After 49 days, the 50th day is Shavuos for you. And that's the way they paskin. They say if you cross the line, it's possible you should have Shavuos a different day than everybody else. Big Chiddush.
So the first day would be Shavuos for everybody else, not for you.
Right.
Have a day later. Then.
Have a day later.
Yeah.
Or maybe a day earlier. Maybe a day earlier. It depends.
You have to keep 2 days.
Yeah, so you have to keep 2 days. Right.
To have a million of guys that did the same.
That's exactly. Everybody who travels.
They see you driving a car.
Yeah.
So that's the way it is in Australia?
So the Maisa, if I'm not mistaken, we have to ask the Lubavitchers what they do. But it could be they're makbid not to cross the date line. Not they're very makbid not to do it because they don't want the issues. If you don't have a Lubavitcher psak, so either you make a bracha or you don't make a bracha.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing. You don't have to worry about when you're keeping Shavuos. But if you go to the Lubavitcher psak, then you have to worry about, crossing the date line.
I think they do.
You do what?
Tanya, and that you move Shavuos.
They do go with it.
Yeah.
And if someone did go, what happens? He'll keep his own day Shavuos.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I saw somewhere that the Lubavitchers are very makbid not to cross the date line because of this reason. Is that true?
Sounds right.
Well, make sure you go back to before Shavuos.
All the boys go back to yeshiva.
After Pesach.
Yeah. How could they do it? They can't stick around.
So what do they do, Taka?
I don't know.
Let's find out.
They're makbid only during the Sphere period.
Or during the Sphere period.
Now, other times there are problems also. We just call it when it's Shabbos and all there are.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues, yeah.
But they still cross it all the time. We're talking about Sphere.
Right, it wasn't Sphere time. The Sphere time goes to the day.
Come here.
No, but Shabbos is not a problem because you're not counting days. Shabbos is Shabbos.
No, the question is where the date line is. So in Australia, it's not really the question. In Japan was the question with the whole thing with the Kippur, with the Chazon.
I see what you're saying with.
Yeah, the question is where the date line is. The Goyim made a certain date line over the Pacific, so no one lives this, you don't have to worry about it.
Or date points through
No, the question is, no, not through Yerushalayim.
I'm saying our date.
Yeah, the question is where the Jewish date line is, where you cross the date line. By Australia, I think everyone agrees you cross the date line. The question is by Japan, if you've crossed it or not. So that's a bigger chiddush of mitzvah kol echad ve'echad. It's a much bigger chiddush. Each person has his own mitzvah sfiras omer, and I'm not dependent in the tzibur at all. Most places don't hold that way. We hold you are dependent in the tzibur for counting which day it is, but still, the sphere itself, each person has to count himself. So what means Sfatim Lechem? Sfatim Lechem means the tzibur has a day, you have to count that day by yourself, not relying on the tzibur. So the counting of Sphira, according to everybody, is a mitzvah kol echad ve'echad, not like the counting of Yovel. Yovel is a machlokes, but Pasha, the counting of Yovel is only for what? To know when Yovel is. Sphira is much different. The counting of Sphira is a whole different thing. The counting of Sphira is preparing yourself, let's call it that way, for Shavuos, that every day a person has to count Sphira. It's a little bit of a Musa Haskell to understand that we're not just counting days to find out when Shavuos is. It's incumbent upon each person to count means, what are you counting for? You're counting in preparation to get to a certain day. Every day you're counting is another day getting closer. You have to have accomplished something. Each day has a significance in itself. And if you didn't accomplish something today, then maybe you missed something. Every day has something. They say, why are we saying Sphira, Hayem Yom Echad La'imur? It's a famous question. It's to say Hayem Yom Rishon Ba'imur. Shani, what's Echad? Why is the first day Yom Echad Ba'imur? I don't know where I saw this word, but they say because Hayem Yom Echad Ba'imur, every person has to think when they're counting the Sphira, every day is its own day, one day. Whatever you accomplished today, you accomplished. You missed it, you missed it. So for every day in the Omer, it's a chiyuv on each person to count. It's not just that I'm going here and I'm counting the Omer, saying the word. It's more than that. Every day has to be another accomplishment, preparing yourself towards Matan Torah. Now there's another question, besides the crossing the date line, there's another question of, a similar question, of if you're traveling and you lose 7 or 8 hours on the way. So that's more of a question of Tmimos. You're traveling from Israel to America, let's say. So on the way, you lose 7 hours. So really, when I started counting hours in Israel, I came back to America, and now I'm here for Shavuos. I don't have 49 full days, because I'm missing a couple of hours on the way. So the question is what you call a full day. Does a full day mean 24 hours? Or does a full day mean sunrise and sunset? Is that what it's dependent on? So I think all the poskim hold that Tmimois means a full day of sunrise and sunset. That's what it means. It doesn't mean 24 hours. So if you happen to be traveling and you're losing a couple hours on the way, that doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything.
The night and you got the day.
You have the night and you have the day. So there I think everyone's going to agree there's no problem with the bracha if you have to wait at night till 24 hours pass in order to start counting. I don't think any place can hold that if you're traveling from Charlotte to America and it's not the full 24 hours yet, can you go ahead and count Sphira for the next night? Everyone agrees that it's dependent in sunrise and sunset. So when the sun sets, that's the new day of the Omer. And that's why there's also a big shaila of someone who counts Sphira, someone who counts Shabbos early, right? So we don't sell Sphira until you come off from Shul all night. Now it's Shabbos. It's the next day already. Saying, let's say, davening Shabbos things already. It's already Shabbos, so it's really the next day already. But still, you can't count Sphira. Still, you can't count Sphira. You have to wait till at night. Why? Because Sphira is not dependent. Sphira depends on sunrise and sunset. The same with Kriya Shema is dependent on sunrise and sunset. Sphira is the same thing.
That's why if you're in Shul on Friday and you daven Mar and you realize you missed Thursday night,
right,
you can say Sphira.
Right. That's also a big question. If you daven Mar already Friday night, early Shabbos, and you remember you didn't count Friday Sphira, Thursday night, you have to go ahead and count and still make up for that day. It's Shabbos now already. So some person did hold, they could count now because the sun did not set yet. As long as the sun didn't set yet, it's still that day in the Omer. The day in the Omer is totally in one thing, sunrise and sunset, not in the hours of the day. So therefore, Erev Shabbos, if you didn't count for Thursday, most of the places I'm going to tell you count, even though it's already you Kabbalah Shabbos, count Thursday, and you continue counting afterwards with a bracha.
You don't make a bracha?
It's by day. By day you never make a bracha. By day you never make a bracha. If you miss Thursday night, you can't start by day, you don't make a bracha. So even though now it's already Shabbos, you have Kabbalah Shabbos, so maybe you can't count Friday Sphira. Let's say you could count Friday Sphira. You let it count Friday Sphira because Sphira is dependent in sunset. And the sun has not set yet, even though it's Shabbos. The sun hasn't set yet, and therefore you can still count the Sphira.
Is somebody on the International Space Station?
You know, the only two Jewish astronauts who went into space.
That would be that's very interesting question.
Because if it's
was that one woman?
I'll tell you who speaks about it. I'll find it. First Israel, the Baruch speaks about somebody who's living in the North Pole. What does he do? Forget about Sphira.
Oh, because he sees very rare of sunset.
He has no sunset.
Anything. It could be dark there for a couple of months straight.
Right.
When he does
When he daven Shabbos. When it's Kriya Shema. When Shabbos.
Once a year.
Yeah. So he speaks about it. At first I'll try to find it for you. I forgot where it is. He speaks about it. It says, Misha Garber North Pole, he says. He says, I'm living in the North Pole. What does he do? So he says, if I'm not mistaken, he says, they're dependent on the place where you came from. That means
Or the closest Jewish city, I think.
That's what I thought it was.
The closest major Jewish city.
So I think he says it depends where you're coming from. If you're coming from a place
South Pole.
Some people will say it's totally in Israel, but yes, Sphira will be another shiloh. Sphira is from the smaller shilohs because every day davening is a big shiloh. Someone's in the space station.
Fast days.
Huh?
Fast days.
Fast days, yeah. Fast years.
Very long.
Fast for a week.
Well, fast is also travel. Someone travels from here to Japan, let's say. Forget about crossing the date line. It's light for 48 hours up there.
My wife had to come back from India.
What do you do? What do you do? I was once standing with my father-in-law. I was once standing with my father-in-law in Borough Park, and someone came over to my father-in-law and says, "What's Shabbos? I'm going to Japan." So I was very interested. So what do you do at davening? You leave Motzei Shabbos and you come Monday afternoon. I think the time it comes.
Right.
So you come on afternoon, it gets day, and it's day straight. When
There's actually a website.
What to do? Yeah.
That tells you
It's a complicated question.
No, but that'll tell you if it becomes night.
So what is it? So the guy tells me.
It's tracking your flight.
This guy tells me. Leave me alone. I daven Mayim on the Shabbos, I come on, I daven Chakras, whatever happens in between, I don't know. So he had no problems.
He didn't have a shiloh.
He had no shilas. I daven Mayim at night, Monday morning I daven Chakras, and I come in, what happens Sunday, I don't know. When I'm in the air, I'm fine. I think he even told me, Torah Lai B'Shemayim. When I'm in the air, I don't have to worry about it.